pushing it over 10 minutes. So just tie it over with, I don't know, talk about life or something. You hear me?
Yeah, but I think I just pressed live by mistake.
Oh, well damn. Well, I guess we can just go ahead and say what's going on, everybody. Devoid G Buddy, this is the Not for the Bay podcast. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and all other major streaming platforms. Also, this episode of Not for the Bay podcast is brought to you by Bet Us, an online bookie site. You can check the link in the description. Upon sign up, you will receive 125% extra upon sign up in bonuses. Um, Big show for us this evening. Obviously, the Washington NFL team name has been revealed today. We're going to touch on also the Tom Brady's retirement and probably the hottest topic of the week thus far is Brian Flores suing the NFL for racial, excuse me. I always end up losing that off the top of my tongue. Get that off the tip of my tongue. Racial. Come on, G, help me out. Racial what?
Racial discrimination or
Thank
racial
you.
profiling, yeah.
Racial profiling. Thank you very much. But what's going on, G?
I'm good, man. What's up, Cap for Life? Shout out Cap for Life in the chats. I'm good, man. Just trying to enjoy life and just hearing crazy stories. And the NFL, man, it's not looking good right now with the NFL. It's not looking good. What are your thoughts on that? Since I guess that'll be the first topic. You want to jump right into it?
Well, let's just go ahead and give everybody
Background, yeah.
give a little bit of a background here because um some folks are not exactly Miami Dolphins fans, so they weren't exactly following along as far as what has transpired over the last couple of years within the organization. So let's go ahead and just take it from the top, from the 2019 before the 2019 season when Brian Flores was hired as far as being the next head coach for the Miami Dolphins. It came down to Stephen Ross had a vision for the Miami Dolphins to build the team from the ground up from scratch as far as building through the draft. And it seemed like the vision was in line as far as Brian Flores and Stephen Ross and Chris Greer, the general manager, were in line as far as that was concerned. And then there were some allegations out there that state that excuse me one second. Take over for
That
me.
Stephen Ross allegedly went to Brian Flores and advised him or tried to persuade. Well, let's just call it what it is. Bribe him to lose games on purpose so they can get a better pick in the draft for the 2019 draft, or sorry, 2020 draft. So that's some of the allegations that are brought out there. There was a interview today on ESPN with Brian Flores. I believe the show is called Jump. No, not Jump. I'm sorry. I'm not
Get
sure what
up.
the show was
Get
called.
up. Get up.
Get up, get up, get up, get up. Yeah, well, he felt that was one of the main reasons why he got let go, or he got removed as the Dolphins head coach, because he wouldn't go through with Stephen Ross's plan or vision. I mean, and then he was saying that he's a winner, that he lives in truth and integrity. I just think this situation is very, very strange and very unfortunate for him, because he might, he's suing the NFL because they're saying that the Rooney Rule, to hire black coaches, there's not enough. There's only one black head coach, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right. So I was gonna say, with after the let's go ahead and just start off with the whole $100,000 if you lose
Yeah.
per game. Okay, so for them to get the first, I'm assuming the goal was for Stephen Ross to get the first overall pick so they could dictate who they wanted to get with the first overall pick. Obviously, the Dolphins ended up winning the 5 games. Stephen apparent it was allegedly that Stephen Ross wasn't happy about them winning the 5 games, and obviously they had the 5th pick in the draft, and they ended up selecting Tua.
Right.
Now there were some rumors in the NFL as far as the Miami Dolphins were trying to trade all 3 of the first round picks back then to get Joe Burrow and instead of Tua, but they ended up drafting Tua anyway with the 5th overall pick, which kind of gets me thinking now, like the Dolphins, even though I already had my speculations in the past, got me thinking like for real, the Dolphins really didn't have, we're really weren't prepared for the 2020 draft, and then we
You
have
mentioned that before. I remember. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then like there's the allegations also as far as the possible tampering with Brian Flores telling the story allegedly that Stephen Ross wanted Brian Flores to meet him on his yacht for lunch, and he told him that there's going to be a prominent quarterback, and that was later confirmed that it was Tom Brady, and that's really like that's really where like the train kind of falls off the rails for me because like we talked about how we want to rebuild this team and how we want to build it from the ground up. For you to add a quarterback like Tom Brady to your roster, I would feel like you would have to be like one piece away.
To win it all, like Tampa was. Yeah.
Yeah, like one like
Right.
Tampa was. So that kind of like that
You
really
can't
doesn't make any
rebuild
sense.
with Tom Brady. That doesn't make no sense at all.
Yeah, like he's on what he just announced his retirement yesterday. So basically, he got Tampa got 2 years out of him. There is
Right.
no way with the roster the Miami Dolphins had at the end of the 2019 season, they would have been able to be contenders for a Super Bowl after that 2019 season. Now I know
No.
there's going to be people in the comment section going to be like, "Yeah, well, we was one game away, but you ain't getting Tom Brady for free. You're going to be paying at least what 20 to 25 million per year for Tom Brady." And don't forget, the Dolphins ended up spending a whole bunch of money in free agency at the end of the 2019 season, going into the 2020 season with Kyle Van Noy, Byron Jones, making him the highest paid corner. So something would have had to give there where you wouldn't have had that many talented players on your roster for you to do that. Now, obviously, you had the 3 first round draft picks. We don't know what the Dolphins. I strongly believe they still would have drafted a quarterback regardless to learn the Tom Brady because again, you're only getting Tom Brady for like what
2 years, two, three
two,
years,
two,
maybe.
3 years, maybe.
Right.
So it really that part like really is like head scratcher to be like what was the mindset with you trying to get Tom Brady because you came out and you said you want to build this thing the right way and
Maybe Stephen Ross felt that the team at that moment can win. I don't know how he felt that way, but maybe he felt that the team could win it all with if they just had Tom Brady, which that would have been a really bad mistake, and Tom Brady's career would have took a hit over that.
let me this is like I know I come across as not liking Brian Flores, but I'll tell you this though. Before the 2019 season started, I kind of lost faith in Greer and Flores, even though Flores just got there because some of the moves that they was making, like they literally was stripping the team down. Look, I have no problem with you stripping the team down until you made that Laramie Tunsil trade. Everybody
Mm.
can sit here and say to me till you blue in the face that that was a good trade, that was a good trade. But at the end of the day, like we talk about, it comes down to player safety, quarterback safety, and when you looked at the Miami Dolphins offensive line in the 2019 season, like those were a whole bunch of no-name guys, bums off the street that clearly are not NFL starters in the league today. Like, like right now, I think Isaiah Prince is playing for the Cincinnati Bengals currently as we speak.
What? Well, I got a question. What did that trade end up looking like? What did they? Who did they get?
I believe they got it was 2 first round picks, 3 first round picks, and then like some undisclosed picks. I don't have it in front of me right now, but
Mhm.
um it ended up turning into the Noah Mbenagity pick and I believe the Austin Jackson pick, if I'm not mistaken. So again, like, and the
Okay, it
Dolphins are
worked out.
still in the market. Well, the Dolphins are still in the market for a tackle, though. So we
That's
really
true.
haven't found anybody to replace Larry Tunsil. But again, it comes down like my thing is if you're looking to put the best product on the field, like like I'm telling you, like you literally went out and got undrafted free agents and bums off the street that could not make it in the NFL as starters to be your starters to protect your quarterback. Like That made no sense. Like it legitimately made no sense. And then like it goes. I hate having to bring up Josh Rosen, but like for real, like you gonna put Josh Rosen behind something like that? Like seriously, bruh. And then we gonna give him a fair evaluation. And the same thing
Give
for
it
Ryan
to Josh
Fitzpatrick.
Rosen.
I'm just saying the same thing for Ryan Fitzpatrick. And that's why I feel like Ryan Fitzpatrick deserves a lot more credit than people give Ryan Fitzpatrick for being on this team, is because of the fact that he had to deal
Deal
with
with that
this,
offensive line. Yeah.
had to deal with that terrible offensive line. That year, Ryan Fitzpatrick was the leader rusher. That's how terrible that offensive line was. Like seriously. So that's where I kind of like jumped off the ship with Brian Flores because of that problem right there. Like you literally had no regard to protecting your quarterback that year. Like we just about to just send him out here just to get murdered every single play.
And you know what? And you know what? Even with that, they still almost made the playoffs last season, and they still almost made the playoffs this season. The issue is the quarterback, in my opinion. The
Oh,
quarterback play and the right.
okay. So here's like I'm not again, I don't not like Brian Flores, but the thing is with Brian Flores, I feel like people overrate him as a coach.
Mm,
And I'm going to elaborate on that because of the fact that
I don't think
just
he's overrated, but go ahead. I want to hear your thought on that.
here
Overrated.
okay, let's just go over the 2021 season, right? So
Okay.
you only have two playoff team. You only beat two playoff teams. Well, technically, you only beat one. You swept the New England Patriots. That's the only team you beat. But that's a team that you're expected to beat, considering the fact that that Brian Flores came from New England and you basically know all the goodies that the New England Patriots have. So you really cannot count that.
What
So
you? That's not. Stop it, Devore. What you mean? You can't? The Patriots are the class of the division for the
they're not the
past
class of
20
the division.
years.
Ever
For
since
the
Tom
past
Brady
20
left, they have
years.
not been the class of the division. They have not
What
been
I'm
the
saying,
class.
what I'm saying is that he's just been gone 2 years. Overall, that's been the class of the division. So if you are able to beat the team twice, that is saying something. It's not like the Patriots had a bad season. The Patriots had a good season. Two
They
wins
had a
against
good
that team. That's good.
they had a good season, but come on, bro. Like Brian Flores been with the New England Patriots for what, 18 years? He's been
A
with the
long
Patriots for
time.
18 years.
Right.
I'm pretty sure he knows the ins of out and outs of New England, the tendencies of everything, all the play calls, everything in New England. Like he not didn't just coach defense, like he started out as a scout for the New England Patriots. He knows the ins and outs of that. So people overrate that victory versus Bill Belichick because he literally worked right underneath Bill Belichick. Everybody that worked under Bill Belichick have gotten a victory off of him. Like this is something that's
Yeah,
not
but
new in
he
the
has the
league.
best record. I think he's 5-2 all time.
No,
He,
he is he swept them this
I'm
year and he got one last year and he got one the year before that. So so
that's
four
fine.
so four so four 4-2. He's 4-2.
4-2. Okay, 4-2. Okay, that's still
So
good.
yeah, it's good, but come on now, bro. Like that's something that people just overrate a little bit too much for me.
That's not. Okay. That's fine. That's one aspect of it. But then you said something where they only beat one playoff team. Devore, you have to play the teams that's line. That's not their fault that the schedule lined up like that. You have to. So if they would have lost, then it would have been worse. You have to play the teams that you play. That's in front of you. So I don't. I mean, I see your point, but I think that
I
saying that
get
he's
it.
overrated.
I
Nah,
just
he's not
yeah,
overrated.
he's overrated to me. So but
He's
I
not
look,
overrated.
I get it, but at the end of the day, like let's just go over the Dolphins opponents that they actually did beat in the 2021 season, right? So people gonna get mad at me for this, but hey,
They're damn sure.
it is what it is at this point because people just overrate
He's not
this team,
overrated. I don't think he's
and
overrated or underrated.
I'm going to be looked upon as a Miami Dolphins hater, but it doesn't matter to me at this point. But okay, you beat the
It's
Patriots by a
about
point,
it's
which
about Tua. It's about Tua. But go ahead.
it's not about Tua. It's about the whole team. You got blown out by the Bills. You lose to the Raiders. You lose to the
They should have
Colts. You
they
lose to the
should have
Tampa
won
Bay
that game against
Buccaneers.
the Raiders. They should have won that game against the
Oh,
Raiders.
yeah, okay. Well, they can't control who they play, right? So, so you lose. So a team that you definitely shouldn't have lost to is the Jaguars. Definitely shouldn't have lost to the Jaguars, but you lost to the Jaguars anyway. You lose to the Falcons. You shouldn't have lost to the Falcons.
Not at
And
all.
then you lose again to the Buffalo Bills. So here's when the winning streak starts to kick in. You beat the Texans. You beat the
A win is a
Ravens.
win.
Okay,
That's a
I
good
hear
win.
you. A win is a win, but a loss is a loss too. You beat the Ravens. You beat the Jets. You beat the Panthers. You beat the Giants. You beat the
Those are
Jets
all
again.
bottom
You
of the
beat the
league
Saints
teams.
with Ian Book as their quarterback. You play at the Titans, you lose to the Titans, and then you go back and finish the season off with the New England Patriots. Come on, bruh. Like let's call a spade here. The Dolphins
Okay.
were an underachieving team.
Yeah, but I don't think it's coaching or play calling. I just think of well, maybe offensive play calling, but the quarterback is just not inept enough to carry that team. Like he's just I think it's more about him than the team because the team they got the defense. They need more of a running game. The offensive line did well enough for that in that 7-game winning streak. I just think that the quarterback is the issue. That's it. That's just my opinion.
Okay,
Quarterback is the issue.
the quarterback can be the issue, yes, of course, but at the end of the day, like I said, what happened in the games that you lost?
So okay, so one of the games that they lost, I think was the one I highlighted against the Raiders. Wasn't Jacoby starting? That's when he
Yes.
started, right?
Yeah, he
Okay.
started that game.
What did I remember? What I said when they lost that game? I said the defense gave up that last touchdown. The defense was the reason why they lost that game, in my opinion. If they would have held up like they were doing for most of the second half, they would have won that game. That wasn't on Jacoby in the offense. That was on the defense. Do you agree?
Now, this goes back to the other point I was making to you earlier.
Okay.
Player personnel is key when it comes down to this Brian Flores system. Byron Jones and Xavier Howard are an absolute must in the lineup. If they're not in the lineup, the Dolphins will not win. And it's already the Dolphins' chances are slim to none anyway when you have Tua playing at the quarterback position. But if you don't have Byron Jones and Xavier Howard for you to blitz every single freaking play to create turnovers, you basically have no chance to win.
Okay, so what if Tua was playing instead of Brissett, Jacoby Brissett? You think Dolphins would have had a better chance? And I mentioned this earlier this year. I said if Tua is so bad, everybody thinks he is. Why not start Jacoby? And you and Devore, you and Banks and the other one, Quitte, was like, no, that's not right. I thought if the Dolphins would have started Jacoby, they would have had a better chance of making the playoffs because he played better to me than Tua did. But I don't know. That's just me. I just saw a difference when the Dolphins were playing with him than when they were playing with Tua.
I'm looking at Greg's comment right now, and he's saying after week 6, Flo took over the defense. Okay, after week
Okay,
6,
yeah.
he did take over the defense, but Xavier Howard and Byron Jones got healthy after week 6 too as well.
Yeah, that's when they started winning.
That's
That
when
was
they
the winning.
started winning, when they got healthy. So, like, is it credit to Brian Flores coaching the defense, or is it credit to the Dolphins getting healthy on defense?
It's probably a combination of both. Probably a combination of both. But you don't
Okay,
think Jacoby over Tua was a good idea?
no.
No.
That's
Okay.
one, like I voiced the opinion that I felt like Jacoby was going to be the better quarterback, but I was wrong about that. I'll go ahead and admit that right now. But at the end of the day, still have a quarterback issue. So if we want to go ahead and play this game, Greg, we can go back to 2020 now. So the Dolphins, they played the New England Patriots. They lost that game. Then they went to Buffalo. And remember, Buffalo, Byron Jones got hurt. They lost that game. They beat the Jags, but they lost to the Seahawks. And then, guess what? Byron Jones came back. We beat the Niners. We beat the Jets. We beat the Rams. We beat the Cardinals. We
2020, right?
Yep, we beat the Chargers, and then the debacle in Denver, which
Yeah.
where that should have never happened. That's a game we should have definitely won. And then like so on and so forth. Obviously, the Chiefs, that's another game we definitely should have won, but due to lack of quarterback play, we lost that game too. So Yeah, we so basically again we get no topic as far as the whole separating the coaching side of things and actual. Let's get back to this whole allegation thing. But I gotta get my point. Like I feel like he's just overrated as a coach, and people just need to
I don't think
pump the
he's
brakes on it a little bit.
overrated. I don't think he's overrated or underrated. He's just rated. He's just in the middle.
Okay, okay. People think he's a phenomenal coach. I think he's a good coach. Is that better?
Okay, that's coming from you. That I guess that's the best we're gonna get. Yeah.
Okay, he's a good coach. All right. He's not he's okay. He's a good coach. Now let's go ahead and get back to go back to the allegations now. So we have the issue with the New York Giants
Right.
with Brian Flores having an interview scheduled with the New York Giants, and then Bill Belichick sent him the text message saying that he basically got the job, but didn't realize that he wasn't talking to Brian Daboll, who got the job with the New York Giants. He was talking to Brian Flores, and Brian Flores didn't even get the interview yet. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that was the that's what sparked up the whole. I strongly believe that he was building up to that anyway. Filing a lawsuit, I felt like he that was building up to that anyway. But I feel like that was the that event right there was the final straw for Brian Flores to be like, you know what, we got to take this to another level. But
You you
I'm
you know what? Just to say a point, I think, and they mentioned this on Get Up today. They were just going to interview him just to fill their quota. Okay, we interviewed a black candidate, but we're not going to hire him. Just to do it, just to have it in this like to have it on record with the NFL that we did what we needed to do. We followed the Rooney rules, and that's why they're suing. So I understand completely why he's suing the NFL.
so
Unfortunately, it's go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say let's go ahead and explain to them what the Rooney Rule is. So the Rooney Rule was put into place for minorities, which is white. I mean, excuse me, not white. No offense, black, black, Spanish, Asian minorities to
Right,
get
right.
opportunities in the NFL. Which means, if we was to break this down, as far as head coaching candidates, each ball club is supposed to interview at least two minority coaches for the head coach as a head coaching candidate, and
Right.
at least one for a coordinator position. If that makes sense, that didn't really come out right. Did you get what I just said?
No, no, I understand the defensive coordinator or the offensive coordinator.
Well, a
Yeah, I
coordinator
get
in
you.
general.
Right,
So
right, right.
now with the Rooney Rule now, which I've always thought that was a bogus rule because it's not
Me too.
guaranteeing them to get a job. It's just putting their foot through the door. But at the same time, if I like to look at things a little bit more optimistically too as well. Like there may be somebody that sat down during that meeting that may have been impressed with the meeting, and then later down the road they'd be like, okay, I want to hire this guy later, like maybe 5, maybe 10 years later, 2 years. Like it doesn't matter, but at least it gets your foot in the door. But I feel like that's not enough for minorities to get head coaching jobs. And it was interesting during that interview that he had on, I think that was Good
Get
Morning
up.
CBS, though the one before that.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Good Morning CBS was the fact that players need to sit in on these interviews because the players are the ones that are getting coached by the head coach. And I feel like it was touched on by Deshaun Watson last year before the season started, where he wanted input with the Houston Texans as far as who should the next head coach for the Houston Texans be. Like I feel like that should definitely be a quarterback. A quarterback, maybe the best player on the defense, and probably your best offensive player should definitely have some input. And I feel like that would help out a lot with the social injustice in the coaching hiring system, however they have it.
I think again, I feel like just like how you were saying, the Rooney Rule is just to fill the quota. I don't think there's. I don't want to speak on people's intent, but I just think that is set in place just so black people could just shut up and just not mention it and not protest and just keep us quiet, because all the NFL owners, all of them, all white male, old white men who may or may not be stuck in their ways and don't want to change things. And I feel that I hope things would change in NFL, but unfortunately for Brian Flores, and I don't wish this on him, I really don't. But he might be the sacrificial lamb, and he might not ever coach in the NFL again because to people on the inside, he looks like a whistleblower. Now, what he's talking about is true, and is you speak with integrity, you speak with truth, but the people on the inside of the NFL might not like him saying that. So I hope this doesn't happen. I hope he gets another coaching job, but I think that unfortunately, based on the history of the NFL, he might be blackballed and not ever get a head coaching job. Like, what team is going to take a chance on him if you have him in the inner circle and they say things and he just like you already like I don't have an issue with him speaking out, like I don't, but you get what I'm saying, Devor, right? Like, you're supposed to be one of us. You're supposed to be inside. We're supposed to be a fraternity. You spreading out all of our dirty laundry out there,
Oh,
even
he
though
ain't in the fraternity. He definitely ain't in the fraternity. He's trying to
yeah,
get in the fraternity. But again, I didn't before these allegations even came out, I didn't even think he was going to get a job, because when I read the article that Armando Salguero wrote, where Stephen Ross said that Brian Flores was tough to work with, I already knew right then and there he signed and sealed and delivered his status as far as never being a head coach in the NFL. Because what do these guys do? What do these owners do all the time? They talk to each other. It's about what. It's not about what you know. It's not about what you know. It's about who you know, and that's how it works
right.
in life. These guys sit down and talk to each other at country clubs, private events and stuff like that. And of course, they ask for recommendations. And if somebody was to come across Stephen Ross, let's say, what's another owner in the league? Let's just use Jerry Jones for example, because that's the only one I can think of on the top of my head. And he
Shah
decides to
Khan.
Shao Kahn's a own, yeah, Shao Kahn. Like, if he was to come across Stephen Ross and be like, "Hey, Stephen, what you think about Brian Flores as the head coach?" What do you think he would say?
He would say good things. So
Okay,
so you agree with me then? You think he's not gonna get a head coaching job for a while?
even if Brian Flores never came out and decided to sue the NFL, I didn't think he was going to get a head coaching job. His best chance of being a
Wow.
coach again was probably going to be with the New England Patriots under Bill Belichick, because apparently he speaks highly of Brian Flores. I don't know about now, but but he speaks highly of Brian Flores. But I never thought he was going to get another job. After that article that I read that Stephen Ross said that he is tough to work with, and he disconnected himself from the rest of the team.
Yeah,
I knew right then and there
yeah,
that
yeah,
was it
but
for Brian
okay,
Flores.
but let me ask you a question though. You think every team's going to listen to Stephen Ross? There's some teams that don't,
No,
that just think to
yes,
themselves,
G,
uh,
G. They look before the NFL draft combine. They have an owners meeting. They discuss
right,
they discuss this they discuss rule changes. Like, it's not even just owners meetings. Like, I'll give you another example. Like I was saying in the video yesterday. Like, I'm not going to tell you which coach it was, but I go to country clubs on a regular basis for my regular job for delivering, and I've literally walked by these high profile guys and listened to some of these conversations that they be having. And like, there was a head coach from a college. I'm not going to say which head coach in that college, but that dude is racist as I don't know what. And these guys are literally sitting here just talking any old kind of way in these country clubs, man. I'm telling you.
I hear you, but I just feel like okay, so for example, I'll give you an example. Look at Antonio Brown. How many different teams gave him a chance? You're telling me one owner is going to say one thing and nobody's going to give Brian Flores a chance? I don't think that's very. I don't think that would happen.
Players and coaches are two totally different things. I believe the NFL is majority black, like 60% are black players.
Right.
So you can't really do anything about the players, but you could definitely do something about the coaches, because
That's a good point. That's a good point. I get you, but
like the players are not really dealing with the owner. Like the head coach has to deal with the owner and the general manager.
what I'm saying is that maybe he would have not get a head coaching job, but he definitely would have been a coordinator because that defense the last 2 years, the Dolphins defense has been
Oh
very
yeah,
good. So he would have got a job somewhere.
he
But like
would.
just
Yeah, I'm not arguing
completely
with the
blackballed
coordinator
over
job.
that.
I'm not arguing with the coordinator job. He'll definitely get a coordinator job, but he ain't getting a head coaching job.
But right now, I don't think he'll get any job at all, not even a coordinator,
Oh yeah,
because
right now, yeah, hell no, he ain't getting another job.
yeah.
He ain't getting nothing. He'll be out a better chance of coaching college at this point.
Which is very unfortunate for him because he seems like a decent human. He doesn't seem like he seems like he does carry himself with integrity. He doesn't seem like a liar. Unfortunately, maybe he's just rubbed people the wrong way. Maybe he's too serious. Maybe he's just all business, and I don't know. I mean, there was the whole thing with him and Tua, and now I just feel bad for the guy. I really feel bad. I hope that because of him, he's going to be an example that the rules do change in the NFL. Because if you look at other leagues, like for example, the NBA, 13 coaches, 13 black coaches around the league. There's only one head coach that's black in NFL. That has to change. I hope that this is where the change will start. But unfortunately, he's going to get blackballed because of that.
It won't change because they still interviewed the coaches, the black coaches. They still interviewed them. So what can you can like you really it's very, very hard for you to prove racism. And that's why obviously the text messages said something different. That's probably the only leg you can stand on right now as far as the New York Giants are concerned. But like it's very, very hard to prove racism.
See, there's racism and there's systemic racism where you basically keep the minorities under control through certain practices and certain, ways that companies and corporations do. So I don't think it's flat out racism, but there's some form of systemic racism, if you understand what I'm saying. But as far as moving forward, I think, do you think the Patriots will hire him as a coordinator?
Hell no. He burnt that house down when he leaked them damn text messages.
Oh, he's done. He's done then. He's done.
Yeah, Bill Belichick gonna chuckle with his hoodie if he saw him in person.
That's a shame, man.
And you know what's crazy? Because I remember we was talking about this in the private chat. Like, no disrespect to Kellen Moore, but if he would have got a job over Brian Flores, I'd be really freaking pissed. I would be livid about that. And for those who are not familiar with Kellen Moore, he is the current offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, who just retired from the NFL as a player 2 years ago. And last year, he was the quarterback coach for the Cowboys. They fired Jason Garrett. Mike McCarthy decided to keep him on the staff, and that's how he ended up moving up. And just after 2 years of you being a coach, just 2 years after being a position coach and an offensive coordinator, you deserve to have a head coaching job where guys basically work their whole 20 years plus to be in that position to be a head coach. Like, come on, man. Like, seriously, like that right there, that blows me. Like that, like stuff like that really blows me. Because they was about to turn around. The Houston Texans was about to turn around and do the exact same thing with Josh McCown. And
I remember that.
There was another coach another player that was trying to be a coach too, that I can't remember off the top of my head. But like it's just those and it gets me thinking, like, when they hire young like that, I feel like they just want a yes man to just do whatever the owner says. That's what I feel that's about.
I don't have a problem with them hiring former players as coordinators, or like a quarterback's coach or a linebackers coach. Like, work your way up to head coach. You can't just come off 2 years and just be a head coach already. Like, you need to work your way up and earn your stripes. I agree with that. Dudes have been waiting 20, 10, 20, 15 years to be a head coach, and you just come up and you 33 and you played in the league 2 years ago. And yeah, I would have not agreed with that. And that still could be a possibility, which is crazy. Unless he came back to the he went back to the Cowboys, or is he still?
He's still got his second interview lined up with the Dolphins. Remember when we had this conversation? During the season, remember when I just came in the private chat and I was randomly like, "Hey, yo, I just looked at Kellen Moore's Wikipedia, right? And this dude literally
Yeah.
just went from being a player and a quarterback coach, and now he's an offensive coordinator. I said,
Yeah.
watch this mofo get a job. Watch him get an interview for a head coaching job next year. Watch, I guarantee you. It's lo and behold, he is a top candidate to be a head coach. Now, what are the ramifications of you being a head coach?
And and,
Because
and and then you were a quarterback coach for who? For what's the guy in Dallas again? Dak? That
he's
was
the
that's who you was coaching? Oh,
yeah,
man.
that's who he was coaching for one
So
year. You was coaching
so
him for 1 year.
what did you do that you did something so extravagant that you could be considered a head coach? You coached Dak and the Cowboys. Like, you didn't do nothing special. Like, what? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. What did he do? What is on his resume that say, hey, this guy would be a great head coach? Let me know.
Hey, I'm glad you see it the same way I do because I just keep getting called a cowboy hater when I say
Nah, man. The Cowboys fans are ridiculous, and we all know that.
it. So let me. So there was a rumor that came out a couple hours ago about Jim Harbaugh.
Oh,
Yeah,
let me hear
because there
this.
was there was the rumors about the possibility of Jim Harbaugh coming to Miami being the head coach before these allegations came out. So let's go ahead and rewind the clock back again, back to 2011. Steven Ross, the owner for the Dolphins, he wanted Jim Harbaugh to be the next head coach, even though he had Tony Sperano already on the payroll as the Dolphins coach. So that didn't end up coming into flourish in the end, and Jim Harbaugh ended up being the head coach for the San Francisco 49ers. So fast forward to present day, about a couple weeks ago, when they announced the firing of Brian Flores, the topic of the idea of Jim Harbaugh being a possible candidate for the Dolphins was placed on the table, and Stephen Ross shut it down. He said he didn't want to take Jim Harbaugh away from the Michigan Wolverines because he was coaching. He was uncertain about if he wanted to return back to college or not. So last week it came out, I believe it was sometime during the conference championship game time, where he was going to go interview for the Minnesota Vikings. And sure enough, today, a couple hours ago, he
Mhm.
it's a rumor. It's not, I don't think it's confirmed yet. I might have to go back and check. So we're just gonna keep it as a rumor right now that he decided to go back to college, even though he expressed interest in coaching in the NFL. What are your thoughts on that? And keep in
I
mind,
actually,
Stephen
mhm.
Ross has Michigan ties.
All right, yeah, I know that. I think he would be good for the Dolphins. And he might actually be good for Tua because Tua is a college quarterback playing in the NFL. He doesn't really know what he's doing, and maybe Harbaugh can guide him and teach him and try to help his game out. So and then he has energy. He has great speeches. He's the players love to play for him. He's like a player's coach. So I actually think it would be good for the Dolphins in the short term, not in the long term, but in the short term, it'd be good for the Dolphins. That's just my opinion.
Oh, I like the take, but I wanted to hear. Did you think? Do you think that this was all just a little ring around the rosy game by Stephen Ross by stating that the fact that he didn't want him at first, and then Jim
Yeah,
Harbaugh came out? Huh?
just like Greg said in the chat, Ross just seems shady. He seems like a person that doesn't tell you the full truth. Just gives you bits and pieces and hides the full truth from either the media or maybe his team, his coaches. Like, he just seems like he has his own agenda and doesn't let everybody else in. And when shit doesn't work out, he can just blame it on somebody else. Well, that's not what I really wanted to do. That's how it comes off. So that is
But
very
that's but
sneaky and
that's but
shady.
that's any management, bruh. Like,
Eh,
bruh,
yeah, but he does it more than he does it a lot more than others.
I know this is like a whole we talk about a whole different scale that we talk about with Stephen Ross, but when you go into your job and somebody else fucks up and you take the blame for it, even though you was just doing what you was told, like you the first one on the totem pole to abandon ship, right?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. What? So you don't agree with the take? Like you don't think he's kind of wishy washy? Like he just has a different, like he has his own agenda for what he wants the Dolphins to be, but that doesn't line up with his coach, his team, his organization. He just wants to do his own thing. He sounds like, well, I wouldn't say he's Jerry Jones because they listen to him, but he just sounds like a owner who doesn't who is not firm in what he wants to do.
See, the difference between him and Jerry Jones is Jerry Jones actually stays in Dallas and is with the team 24/7.
Right,
Stephen Ross, I mean, how I don't even know how often he comes down to Florida because he lives in New York. So he's not really hands on with the team. He just has his people communicate with him from a distance, and that's
right.
how he gets things done. But my thing is like you're a businessman. Stay a businessman. You have the coach, and you have the general manager manage whatever if the head coach has full control of player personnel or whatever. But everybody has a role to play, and your role is to keep invested in the team. That's your job.
But
So
there are some owners who are actually football people, football or basketball people, or actually know the game. But I don't think he knows the game. He's just a businessman, so it's kind of different.
yeah, like you like it's like again, I hate to take this back to just us grunts work, but it's like your manager coming down to you and saying something that makes totally no freaking sense, and you know it makes no sense, but you just sit there and you shake your head. Okay, I'm gonna do it just because you're my manager, and if I say no, you're gonna fire my ass. It's one of them type of situations.
And I wouldn't like to work for something like a company or someone like that. That's just awful.
You
Like for
never had.
somebody
I
who,
know you had to have a situation like that before.
of course, but that's when I was younger and not as smart and not know how to handle and speak to people. But like that's not an environment that I want to work in. That's why I've always stated. Look, this is why I've always stated that the Dolphins need a new culture, need a new something, and maybe the change is a new owner. Now, obviously, you can't fire the owner; he's the owner. But if somebody were, if there was a group of people who could come and buy him out, I don't know, you just never know what can happen. But until that culture change, until Stephen Ross is out of there or he gives control more to somebody else, the Dolphins will always be a team that never really achieves and stays mediocre. Unfortunately, that they will always be that way.
Well, if them allegations are true as far as the whole tampering situation with Tom Brady, I believe they will strip him of the team.
They that can happen.
Oh yeah, you violated the rules. You were tampering.
Yeah, but how many rules did what's the owner from the Patriots? How many rules has that team broken? He's still the owner. How does How does Robert Kraft keep the owner position, but Stephen Ross gets fired? Not that I'm trying to pick up cheer for Stephen Ross or whatever. I'm just asking a question.
Okay, so what rules are we talking about here? Are we talking about Deflate Gate? Are we talking about the happy ending incident? Is that what we talking about?
Well, all of that together, like he had many incidents, and he's still the owner of the Patriots.
Well, I think with if we're talking about Deflate Gate, that's something beyond Robert Kraft's control. Spygate, that's beyond Robert Kraft's control. And the only,
Okay.
only thing that I could probably get him for, what I could agree that you can get him for, is probably the happy ending incident where they had that raid at the massage parlor a couple years back,
All right.
and he was caught in there. You remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
That's the only thing that I could possibly think that he should have got in serious trouble for. But really, outside of that, like I
That's not tampering. Tampering is different.
yeah,
That's
tampering is on a whole other level. Like you communicated with a player and trying to get them to come to your team before the new league year started for free
Mhm.
agency in March. Like that's a serious offense. Like we talking about you getting draft picks stripped from you, and you talking about possibly the owner considering how it's not even just tampering. Also the fact that you tried to bribe Brian Flores to lose games on purpose. That right there, I think that right
That's
there. That
bad.
you ain't getting away with that.
Yeah,
You ain't
but
getting away with that.
but teams been doing that teams been doing that for years. As far as it happens more in the NBA than it does in the NFL, but teams been doing that for years. Let's lose on purpose so we can get a better draft. The thing is, Brian Flores unfortunately made it public and then put a number on it, put an actual a number on it. So that made it even worse. Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen. Like, I wonder if Roger Goodell or the NFL is going to come down on Stephen Ross. I doubt they'll do anything. I think that Brian Flores will be the scapegoat and they'll just blackball him and blame everything on him. But I just wonder if, Goodell's going to have some balls and actually do something to Stephen Ross. We'll see.
You can't. Hey, you know who Goodell's boss is?
The owners.
Yeah. So really, what do you think he's going to do?
But he can find the owners. He does have control over that. He can find the owners. He can get them removed from the team. I don't know if he can do that, but he can find them and take away draft picks, which would suck for the Dolphins. But again, this is the culture that the Dolphins are in. This is what I'm talking about. This is the toxicity of the Miami Dolphins. This is why the Dolphins will always let you down, because of the culture that they're in, set by the owner. It's very unfortunate, but this is what it is.
I hear you, but I wonder how that conversation is going to go in the next owners meeting. Hey, Steven, you fucked up. So what do you think we should do? The rest of the owners, all 31 owners, what do you think we should do with Steven? Well, Steven, you should sell the team. I don't know. I really don't know, because like that whole tampering thing, I guess we can call this what we call this point shaving if we're trying to lose. Even
But
though
I don't think that's enough to remove him from the team. They might just fine the hell out of him and then take Dolphins draft picks for the next X amount of years. But that is not enough. That's not like a Donald Sterling situation. I don't think he'll be removed from the team or be forced to sell the team. But I think I see fines and I see draft picks taken away. Definitely. That's going to happen. It has to happen. Something has to happen.
yeah, definitely something definitely does have to happen. But we're going to continue to monitor this as this thing unfolds.
Right.
But come on, bruh. Like, let's think about it. Who is going to want to be the next head coach for the Miami Dolphins at this point? if Jim Harbaugh was like, man, F this, y'all both fools in the NFL, it's crazy. I'm going back to Michigan.
Man, I don't know. Like, who would want to come to this mess? Who would want to come here? So it would have to be somebody with a strong personality, with a strong mindset, and firm in what they want to do with the team. And I don't know, like, who's a good candidate? Because everybody's saying that the offensive coordinator from Kansas City, but is he mentally strong enough to handle the pressure that you might get from Tua and his inept ability to play well, or from Stephen Ross, or from the Dolphin fans and the Dolphins culture? Can he handle that? Like, he's a great offensive coordinator, but as a head coach, do you think he'll be good? That's the question. Because I know everybody wants to, what is his name? Ellaby? What's his name?
Bieniemy?
Bieniemy, right, from Kansas City. Like, is he really the best candidate for the Dolphins job? Is my question.
Are you saying that as far as being a damage control candidate, considering the fact that, well, for the Dolphins, I don't think they're going to be in that much trouble as far as the whole racial situation, because you still have a black general manager. You just had Brian Flores as your head coach for 3 years. So
thank you, John. Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
So
what's up, Q?
What's going on, fellas?
Go ahead, finish what you said, Devore. I'm sorry.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead, finish your point, Devore.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. So I don't think the Dolphins would be in that. I wouldn't get in trouble for the racial part of it, because of the fact that you have a black general manager and you had Brian Flores for 3 straight years. So as far as the black part, the racial thing, the Dolphins should escape that. Now the tampering, that's a different story. But
hey, Q,
yeah, what you got?
Q, have you heard what we've been saying?
My thing is, remember I said in the private chat, right, about Greer. Greer he's nothing but a good old boy. someone who sat by the door doing his job. He don't care about nobody else. Cause I'm gonna say this to you, bro. As a fellow black man, if my boss was a white man, tell another black man to do something wrong, I know because if this black man do this set thing, he's gonna be the face of this set thing. It's not gonna be the owner who offered the money, the owner who set up meetings with another person before free agency. It's not gonna be that. It's gonna be Brian Flores. And to me, it is because from the beginning, I always knew the owner wanted Harbaugh. That's all. That's what he's been wanting for the past 10 years. I don't understand why, but he wants this guy to be the coach for some reason. For some odd reason, he wants him to be the head coach. He been wanting this man to be the coach since Tony Soprano. He did him dirty. Because to me, I'm gonna say this to you, bro. Brian Flores was hired to be a scapegoat. He was hired to be a scapegoat, and I saw that shit from the beginning. It's sad. It messed him up. He actually was a good coach. That what fucked him up. He was to be so bad, so we can get 3 first overall picks.
He's a good coach or a great coach?
He's a good coach. Right now, he's a good coach. Because think about it. I'm gonna say this to you. If somebody else come to this team, do you think that defense still gonna play the same way? No. It's him. That's him. The defense was him. It wasn't nobody else. It wasn't how they built the team. He built the team how he wanted the defense to run. He didn't get to the offer. That's why I don't understand how people say he had 3 years to build a team. No, man, he had 2 years to build a team. It's really 2 years. I don't count that first year. I don't count.
DeVore counts 2019 for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't count 2019. I don't count that year.
Quinte,
I just
question
don't.
for you. Quinte, the shelf life for NFL head coaches, if you're not improving by year 3, are you going to be returning it after that 3rd year?
But I'm going to say this. What has he done not to be returned? He's the first winning coach we had in 20 years, bro.
And how many years? In how many years?
20.
That's
20.
bull crap. That's bull crap. Don't sit back and throw my boy under the bus.
First of all,
Dude,
he had one winning season.
If you keep on saying Adam Gase, bro, Adam Gase had 1 season, bro.
You said first winning season in 10 years. Last time I checked, 2016 is 4 years ago.
Winning. That's wrong with Dolphins fans, bro. A lot of y'all is delusional. Y'all, when y'all like a guy, y'all like a guy. That's y'all problem, man. That's y'all problem. The proof is right there. The proof is the man had 2 winning seasons back to back. The first season we won 10 games. We weren't even supposed to win fucking 10 games. We won 9 games with a sorry ass quarterback. Come on now, dude. I don't want to hear. I'm gonna say if you switch Tannehill with Tua, we'll be in the fucking playoffs right now, bro. Tannehill ain't no better, bro.
What about Jacoby with Tua? For Tua?
Jacoby sucks, bro. I'm not one of those people who gonna say Jacoby's better. He sucks. I'm just saying, because you need to understand. I get tired of people saying how this, that, and the other. Come on now. Tannehill had Brian Hartline and Devon Best in the beginning of his career. This man was fucking throwing 4 times a season. So don't tell me no bullshit. Tua can't make it work with the offensive hands. And he has better pocket presence than Tannehill. And he just can't. He does not have the arm Tannehill has. That's the thing. It's like if you put those 2 together, we'll have a whole fucking quarterback. But we can't. You understand what I'm saying? And then people like to talk about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes can't read fucking defenses. That's his fucking problem. That's why he fucks up all the time. In crucial game-winning moments, he fucks up. The same thing with Josh Allen. He can't improvise. He can't do shit. But people get mad at me for telling the truth,
my
bro.
boy Josh Allen.
Hold on, wait. Man, he was not on Josh. Come on,
stop man.
Stop it.
DeVore, I can't take you, DeVore. I don't know if you trolling or being serious.
He trolling, man. He trolling. That's all he doing.
Because the man is not that good. I'm gonna say this. He's Ben Roethlisberger who can't read defenses. Ben can read the defense. You understand what I'm saying? And look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow got sacked 9 times. against the Tennessee Titans. How in the hell did they win the game? It's one on Tannehill for 33 interceptions. Two on the coach who called no dumbass defensive calls, leave the fucking tight end all day over the middle of the field. And the running back. Come on now, dude. You play man to man when you so far away from the end zone, but when you get close to the red zone, you playing zone. What the fuck is you do? You don't play zone defense in the red zone. You don't do that. You make it harder for them to. I don't know. It's a lot of stuff that's happened in this postseason. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, you gotta look at why Tom Brady retired. He probably retired so he don't get no backlash for what Brian Flores is doing. People need to put that in context too.
Oh, we was definitely getting to that.
Yeah, by
think
the way,
about it. How this man say I can play for another 5 years, and all of a sudden he want to retire this year?
Well,
let's
get into it. Let's talk about Tom Brady. That's a great transition.
Yeah, let's talk about Tom Brady. So yesterday, Tom Brady's retirement was overshadowed by Brian Flores' lawsuit that he filed.
Yeah.
But 22 seasons in the NFL, 20 with the New England Patriots, 2 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, has the most touchdown passes in NFL history with 624, most passing yards in NFL history with 84,520, 243 regular season wins, most in the NFL, most playoff wins in NFL history with 35, 19 more than any other quarterback ever. I think the next closest is Joe Montana, if I'm not mistaken. Has the most Super Bowl appearances with 10 and 7 Super Bowl rings, and is a 5-time Super Bowl MVP, most in the NFL history, and is the all-time playoff leader in touchdown passes with 86, and has the completions 13,000. Passing yards 13,049 yards, and completions 1,165 yards. 15 Pro Bowl selections, most in NFL history. 3-time NFL MVP. 2009 Comeback Player of the Year, and also was named a top 100 player of all time.
Let me just say something. I know because we've had this conversation before. I think the three of us have stated to Banks that you got to give more credit to the Patriots defense. He had great defenses all year. Quinte said he was a game manager early in his career. But man, you cannot argue with the numbers, man. Even though all of that, what we said is true, the man is still great. The man is still great. He's still great. And you can't argue with those numbers, but he can't argue with those numbers.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Let me say one thing to you real quick, Banks. I mean, not Banks, but G. If Tannehill played for 20 years, he had some numbers. And we know Tannehill is not that good of a quarterback. No. The board knows what I'm talking about.
If you sound crazy now, man. Come on.
No. No, I'm gonna say this to you.
Go ahead.
If you look at his yearly numbers, he's gonna throw for 3,800 yards passing or 4,000. Given each season, he's gonna throw for 28 to 30 touchdowns, right? And you do that consistently for 20 years, you're gonna break everybody's record.
But Quinte, right? he didn't have any receivers until 2007 when he got Randy Moss on. He never had any receivers. The Patriots spent all their money on defense.
Let me ask you a question. What was his problem in Tampa Bay? He didn't have his system in place for him to ball. I'm gonna say this: if they had his system, Tampa Bay would be undefeated for 2 years straight. They didn't have his system.
So how come they won the Super Bowl then?
How did Mike Evans decline a little bit when Tom Brady came? Mike Evans was a 12, 13-yard receiver every fucking year. What happened? Why he declined a little bit? Why did Godwin decline a little bit? They're not his type of receivers. He likes little short guys from option routes, short routes, and occasionally hit a deep pass down the field. And people forget that year when he had Randy Moss, who had the most reception on the team, Wes Welker, not Randy Moss. People need to understand that.
The man threw 50 touchdowns that year, man.
But dude, how many touchdowns did Randy Moss have off deep passes? 20 touchdowns, right? 20-some touchdowns off deep passes.
Yeah, 23, I think.
But who had the most receptions on the team?
Wes Welker.
And who was getting the first downs?
Okay, so wait. What are you saying?
No,
Are you
answer
saying
my
that
question. Answer my
But,
question.
okay, but I'm trying to understand your point. Are you saying that?
I'm gonna say I can't take nothing away from the man, but though, come on now.
So you don't think he's one of the greats? You don't think he's one of the greats? Those numbers,
He's
come
one
on,
of
man.
the greats. I give him one of the greats because in crunch time I want Tom Brady to have the ball. I give him that.
Exactly.
That's about it. I can't get him nothing else.
So who's better
I'm
than
being
Tom
honest,
Brady then?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, come
Dan
on,
Marino,
man. Stop it.
Brett Favre.
Dan Marino.
Favre.
Yes. Dan Marino. If Dan
I-
Marino
I'm
had
just
one
saying.
championship, he
I'm
would
gonna
be
say
the best quarterback ever.
it's people. It's a person. Nobody give him no credit.
Ooh.
Nobody. Warren Moon was one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the fucking game, but he gets no fucking credit.
Well, I mean, we all know why he don't get credit. We all know why.
If he was a white dude, Warren Moon would be the best quarterback to ever play. Think about it. The man won a championship in Canada 6 years in a row, or 5 years in a row, either.
Yeah.
Come on. Think about that. And that was early in his career. Think about if he went to the NFL with that in his prime. That was his prime years. But he could get in the NFL. But you want to wait his career. Then you had Randall Cunningham. If he had a better support staff, Randall Cunningham would have been one of the best quarterbacks ever played.
Randall Cunningham had one of the greatest defenses ever.
Yeah, but Mike, you couldn't take nothing from Cunningham, bro. You can't take nothing from him, bro. And as an Eagles fan, you should not say that. You can't take nothing from him. And when his defense get him a turnover, what Randall Cunningham doing? He's going to score a touchdown. What did McNabb do? McNabb had no fucking weapons for one season. He had a fucking weapon.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Come on now, I can't give first all the credit because I know it's a team effort. I know it was the defense that brought him to those Super Bowls, bro. I know the kicker won some of those Super Bowls for him. He won one Super Bowl. That was the most craziest Super Bowl I ever saw in my life. Was that Atlanta Falcons Patriots Super Bowl? How in the hell did you let them come back? I know Tom Brady's good under pressure, but come on now, dude. All he had to do was kick two field goals. The game was over.
I definitely would take Marino.
Listen,
I definitely take Marino over Brady, but Brett Favre. I think Brett Favre was.
That's one of my favorite players. So
I know. He just took too many chances, but sometimes they worked out. But I hear you, man. I just, again, you can't argue with those numbers. I think he's one of the greatest. Is he the best quarterback ever? The best quarterback, and the most talented quarterback, in my opinion, is Dan Marino. I don't care what nobody says. I'll take him over every quarterback that ever lived. He's like Peyton Manning, but better.
Yeah. But hey, man, I don't know. I just don't. I respect the man, but to say he's the GOAT and all that shit, nah. Because through all his 20-something years, he wasn't even the best player in the NFL. That's just my humble opinion.
People go off the rings, the ring argument.
I'm gonna say when Dan Marino played, they say, "Oh, he was one of the best players that season." Tom Brady, when early in his 20s to 35, he wasn't even the best player. He didn't start being the man to Peyton Manning retired. People forget that shit. People forget that. He wasn't nothing to Peyton Manning retired. Yeah, he got Super Bowls, but he got Super Bowls because he had a great team. When can a quarterback say I have a great team to help me win? Many. Not many. You might have a great team for a season or two and have a run, but that's it. This man had a run for 22 years. 22 years. They were favored to win Super Bowl every freaking year because of the team, not just Tom Brady. And then when he went to Tampa Bay, he barely did anything in that Super Bowl. The defense won that game. He was fucking up in that game. Just imagine if the defense played bad that game. They would have lost. That's what people. It's like I don't take nothing away from the man, but you gotta look at everything. You can't just pick one or two things about a person to say he's just Pippin. I don't.
Okay, well, I got a question for you. We were talking about this earlier. I feel like Brian Flores is going to get blackballed. He's not going to get any coaching job in NFL for at least 5 years. You agree with that, or you disagree with that? You think some team will give him a chance because they're looking at him like the whistleblower?
I'm gonna say this to you, bro. As a black man, you know, in that kind of environment, you gotta be perfect, bro. You have to be perfect. Yeah. If you're not perfect, you're getting fucked. That's like I said before. He was a scapegoat, bro. And I'm gonna say this to you. And people like to say, "Oh, he's hard." He's a typical black man with strong will, who's an alpha male. He's not gonna take no shit. He wants you to be straight with him. That's all he wants. But just like I keep telling people, Chris Greer, he should have got fired. That man he's a rat. Something that's not right about. How in the hell does this man stay in this organization for all this time? All he been doing to me is back people to get ahead. Think about it. Everything this man do is something ain't right. Something ain't right. Now how the hell you gonna ask another black man to lose games, and you know for a fact if he lost, I'm gonna say this to you. We lost all those games, right? His first season, we drafted Joe Burrow. You think he still would have been our coach the next two? You know who he got fired?
Yeah.
Because, he lost all the games. And that's a fact. You don't understand. It's like, yeah, y'all make jokes about Marvin Lewis, but Marvin Lewis is a good coach. Why hasn't he got another chance? He took a sorry-ass organization to the playoffs every fucking year. He lost every fucking playoff game, yes.
Yeah.
But he took this sorry-ass franchise to the fucking playoffs every season. Right? Why has he not get another chance? Why has he not? And I know y'all love to say Mike Tomlin. Yes, Mike Tomlin. He's in a great situation. When do you ever see the Roots have a bad draft or this and that? No, they're not. All you got to do is know how to manage your emotions, manage people, and you be good. You'll be a decent coach for the Steelers. It's like that's the best situation for anybody. Any other coach, any other situation, it's gonna be hard for you. So look at the coach for the Cardinals. He get fired after one season, and he ain't have nothing on the team.
Steve Wilkes
got fired for fired for a coach. Yes, he got fired for a coach he sucked in college. Who sucks in college? Sucks. And get to the league, sucks. I'm gonna say this. I know people like to say he's the future. That motherfucker scares me because somebody's gonna blow his little ass up. You looking like a little leprechaun running around with a football like that. I just don't like it. He might prove me wrong, but I just don't like it, man. Something ain't right. I just don't like it. He got too much confidence for a motherfucker ain't do shit in the league yet. That's what kills me about some people. You ain't do nothing but you got just like you, Tom Brady. You on Tom Brady level. Like you've been at least 15 years and you've been to 5 Super Bowls. No, Pippin. You haven't. You haven't been to the playoffs yet. Besides, you went to the playoffs this year. Got your ass kicked. Come on now, dude.
He is extremely confident. Yeah.
I understand to be confident. Yes, you got to be confident in yourself. But at certain points, you got to have a quiet confidence about yourself, and you build your resume, and then you can be boastful, whatever you want.
I mean, so far, it's pretty good. 70 touchdowns, 34 interceptions, 11,480 yards.
I'm gonna say this to you. Good. Some people go off numbers. I go
20 rushing touchdowns.
No. I go off what I see. What you see. You see a person that runs around in circles, ad-libbing. He does not go through the structure of the play. He's unscripted plays. He doesn't do anything right. That's what
hold on. Wait. You can't say nothing, man, because you were all about Arizona this season. So stop it. Come on now.
What did I say? What did I say Sunday night?
I didn't say nothing about Arizona.
What did I say Sunday night?
No, not you. I'm talking about DeVore.
What did I say Sunday night? What did I say Sunday night? When we was talking about quarterbacks, and I said Kyler Murray it's something ain't right with Kyler Murray moving forward. And you said it was the ankle. It was the
knee.
ankle.
I mean, sorry, the ankle injury.
It
Yeah.
ain't no ankle, man. It's how he plays, man.
Like that offense doesn't look sustainable at
It's
all.
not.
Like after a while,
You
it
can't
looks too it looks too predictable. And then you and Banks is
Instead of
like,
personal
yeah,
just-
well, DeAndre Hopkins ain't there. He ain't there. I'm like, bruh, you had Christian Kirk, you have AJ Green, you had Rondale Moore. Like, you couldn't make something happen with those three guys. And you had Zach Ertz. You couldn't make nothing happen with Zach Ertz.
Yep. That's my whole issue, man. It's a lot of teams like this. I'm gonna say it's a lot of things. Like I said, to do that work. If they replayed the playoffs again, start from the beginning, the teams who are in Super Bowl right now would not be in Super Bowl. Sorry, Banks, but it's the truth. They won't be in the Super Bowl right now. Think about it. If they replayed those games, how everybody go, those teams would be in the Super Bowl. It'd be Tampa Bay and somebody else, or Green Bay and somebody else. Green Bay Buffalo Bills, or Tampa Bay versus Buffalo Bills.
Hey Quinte, can I backtrack on something real quick?
I don't know about that. I disagree with that. But go ahead.
I'm telling you. I'm gonna say this to you. If you go to the Bengals Titans game, Tannehill doesn't throw interceptions like that. He's throwing 3 interceptions back to all of them in it. Come on now, it doesn't happen. Yeah,
he had a
game
bad
manager.
year this year.
He's a game manager, but he doesn't turn the ball over. Something wasn't right. He was limping the whole fucking game. But every time the camera see him limping, they turn away. You notice that shit. I know I was the only person that noticed that shit. So it's just something wasn't right. And they put Derrick Henry to face. He shouldn't have been playing that game. He should have been giving Foreman a Foreman should have started the game. It's everything was not right. And then you say even with the Buffalo should have beat Kansas City.
Oh, that's true. We said, yeah, that's true.
Buffalo should have beat Kansas City. I don't care how much I don't like Josh Allen, but they should have beat him.
I like Josh Allen.
I like Josh
Allen. I don't like Josh Allen.
I think him and Justin Herbert, they're the future, along with other players.
Oh, you hate no
Joey
B.
Well, I'm gonna say Justin.
Joey B.
Of course.
Joey B.
Yeah.
Joe Burr.
Yeah. Joey Burr. To me, they set him up to be the next Tom Brady to take the mantle. That's just my opinion.
He's got his confidence.
I got something for you, G. I need to give it to you. I got a book for you.
Okay.
Yeah. It's something that you need to read and have open mind with. But I'll tell you, not right now, probably in the chat. But it's a lot of stuff. A lot of it didn't make sense. And back to the Flores thing, he had to be perfect to get a chance. He got his chance, and they fired him for having integrity. That's all it was.
Exactly.
Just think of if he didn't have any integrity, if he was a typical guy just want to get ahead, don't want to suffer the consequences right now. That's that's why he got fired, bro. Because think about it, it's a lot of people do stuff. They know eventually that shit gonna catch up to them. Just like I'm out here selling dope in the '90s. I'm the kingpin. I'm the man. I'm selling all this dope, whatever the case may be. I know eventually I'm going to die. I'll spend my life in prison. That's why you see them boys live their life to the fullest when they're free. It's a timeline. But if you do stuff the right way, you go get a job, work your way up, become the man. It's going to take you a while, but you do it the right way instead of doing it the fast way. Or you go to college, you start your own business or something like that. You take your time and do it the right way. That's what he got fired for, doing it the right way. It wasn't no fast track, no nothing. He just did it the right way. He's not no 30, 35-year-old dude who just was playing quarterback in the fucking league. And all of a sudden he gets a chance to be a head coach. How? coaches who got hired, how did they get hired over Brian Flores? Think about it. I want you to really think about that. All teams hired their coaches. Some of them I never even fucking heard of. They got a job for Brian Flores. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand the coach for the Raiders. They should have kept the guy who was already coaching. I don't understand.
Come on, man. It's Josh McDaniels. You already know. Josh McDaniels trumps 99%. We don't. Hey,
he sucks as a head coach,
bruh. Okay, so obviously, the ride with Denver didn't turn out the way everybody wanted it to turn out. But this is America. What is it? The world of the country of second chances. I believe he deserved a second. He deserves a second chance, and I think he will be a success with the Las Vegas Raiders moving forward.
Over Jim Caldwell, over Marvin Lewis.
I'm
not saying over those guys. I'm not saying over those guys, but I'm just saying like Josh McDaniels has been a hot commodity for the past 7 or 8 years now. Ever since he left, what was with Denver? 2009, 2010. So the last 8 years, Josh McDaniels has been a hot commodity.
But I'm gonna say this to you real quick before I clock in, man. I'm gonna say this. What was the issue with the Raiders? They have a nice offense, nice piece. They just need one more piece, whatever. It's the problem is their defense. They need a defensive head coach. They don't need an offensive mind head coach. They need somebody to beef up that defense, help their defense get better. That's the problem. In that division where they play in, you need a better defense. And the defense is not that good. Besides the 2 little pass rushes they got, that's it. They have nothing else. And that's a proven fact. If you stay inside, run inside zone, trap, those defensive ends are obsolete. They need a defensive head coach. That's why I didn't like that coaching hire. That's why I don't like it.
I'm reading Greg's comment in the comment section saying Flo left out of that second chance.
That's funny.
Well,
Hey,
I hear it.
I said we was just reading Greg's comment. It says, "Well, Flo left out of that second chance." But we all know the color. We all know the color of Josh McDaniel's skin, so we ain't even going to try to compare the two here. But if going back to the Raiders, they had a lot more issues than just the defense, Quinte, because they ended up firing the general manager too as well. Even though I felt like they had a hard time figuring out the whole drafting situation, because some of the draft picks that the Raiders have had over the last couple of years have been head scratching to me.
Nah, but to me, those are because of the head coach, not because of the general manager. That's my opinion.
It's a combination of both.
I'm gonna say when Chucky was the head coach of the Raiders the first time, he did the same shit. I'm just saying, I with you, man. He did the same shit. I'm gonna say take Chucky, take Harbaugh. Harbaugh took over the 49ers as a team that Mike Singletary built. Yeah. Then Chucky went to Tampa Bay on a team built, won Super Bowl. Well, one went to the Super Bowl, one won the Super Bowl. Right?
What?
It's like people give them credit for that, but they shouldn't have credit for nothing. And once the 49ers team start getting old, breaking down, that's when he wanted to escape to college. And he did nothing connected with not one championship, not nothing.
Hey, Quintway, and guess what? This is the coach that your owner wants for the Dolphins. I don't know why.
I don't know why.
You do know why.
But, hey,
well, there's the connection.
I know why.
The college connection, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And the fact that he's,
He's probably dating one of his stepdaughters or something. I don't know.
But hey, man. But all right, bro. I'm not doing the.
All right, bro.
Yeah, we definitely
I
about
don't
to
feel
wrap
like
this
it.
thing up. We about to approach the hour and 20 mark anyway. But a very, very interesting podcast this evening. Even though I gotta give Quinte some pushback. I don't know if he's still listening or not, but
I'm
I
listening.
would.
I'm listening.
Okay, yeah, Brett Favre is not better than Tom Brady.
No. I agree with that. He's not better than Tom
I'm gonna say
Brady.
this. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. See, everything personal opinion. Cause me, my all-time favorite quarterback, all time is Warren Moon. Warren Moon is secondary. And third, Brett Favre. You got McNabb. And you got Peyton Manning. Those people I saw play. I'm just saying. I didn't really see what you call it play. He played for Kansas, but I was a little kid. I didn't really pay attention like that.
I'm reading Radically's comment here. It says, if the Texans hire Flores and keep Watson, does anyone even remember what Watson is accused of? This is an excellent deflection opportunity for the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
No, women don't forget. Women don't forget things.
Exactly.
See, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be honest. Coming from growing up, I grew up and going out when I was going out and where I live. What he's talking about how if you read something, women offer you the ass, and then when they offer you the ass, they find out you got some money, then they want to cry something else. That's why you got to stay away from certain kind of women. Because I would say how I feel, but I can say it like that on air. But in the private chat, I'll say how I feel. G know what I'm talking about. If you Florida, it's different types of women.
Winning radically. I'm gonna say like this. Radically, I think winning solves everything for the Houston Texans at this point.
But they got a whole lot of issues. They got everything on the team.
But again, winning solves everything. If they start winning, I'm pretty sure they'll forget everything real quick. But we definitely approaching the hour and 25-minute mark. So did anybody have any final thoughts before we close this thing out?
Go ahead, Q.
Be blessed, somebody. I'm about to be gone. Blessed.
All right, bro.
There ain't no long symphony today. What you got, G?
I got is halfway through the NBA. Well, a little more than halfway through the NBA season. I think they played about 50 games or so. I firmly believe that it's going to be a rematch in the finals. The Warriors turn over the ball too much, and I think the Suns are focused, and nobody's beating Yon in the East. So that's just my take for now. It can change in a few months, especially when football is completely over and I can focus more on the NBA. But right now, in my opinion, Phoenix Suns versus Milwaukee Bucks again. Just be prepared for that. Other than that, peace and love. Everybody eat right. Have a good diet, and that's it.
Ain't nobody beating the Warriors.
They turned the ball over way too much, man. They're not.
We talking about regular season basketball. We're not taking it serious right now.
This is a new era. That LeBron and KD and Steph and Draymond and Kawhi, them boys are slowly fading away. What's happening? All of them are getting injured. This is a new era. These new cats, Jokic and Luka and Trey and Booker and Ja Morant, these boys are coming. This is a new era. This ain't 2017 anymore. I'm telling you, the Warriors will be great, but they will be exposed in the playoffs. It's going to happen. And I think the Suns are too focused to lose again. And they'll lose to nobody except Milwaukee. That's it. The only team that can beat Phoenix, in my opinion, is Milwaukee. The Warriors will lose against the Suns. I don't see them beating them, but that's just me.
I'm going with John Hendrickson here. Warriors have yet to play their big three together.
They don't have Kevin Durant. They don't have KD. You remember, they only beat the Cavs in 15 because two guys were injured. What happened in 16 when everybody was healthy and everybody was playing? They lost. KD was huge for them. Stop it. The Warriors they're great, but they're not winning the championship. Milwaukee again.
Bro, they loaded. They will win the championship.
Nah, Milwaukee again.
Are you serious right now? Okay,
Milwaukee's gonna
okay.
repeat.
I feel like it's going to come down to who's coming off the bench, and I like the Golden State Warriors bench a whole lot more than I like the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
I like the bench. Don't get me wrong. I like Gary Payton. I like Wiggins. I like Poole. But I don't think those guys are enough to beat Milwaukee. They're too big. They're too long. And that chemistry of Holiday and Middleton and Giannis, I think that chemistry is too much for any team. I think that they're going to repeat. I don't see nobody beating Milwaukee. I just don't. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's my opinion. Nobody's beating Giannis right now. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Any final thoughts, Devore? Okay, so just to respond to John, I realized that Draymond played Game 6 and played Game 7, and the Warriors still lost. So I don't want to hear that. He put himself in that position to get suspended. He knew how many techs he had. That's not an excuse. Draymond still played Game 6, Draymond still played Game 7, and the Warriors still lost. So that's not an excuse. The Warriors without KD they're not going to beat Milwaukee. I'm sorry, they're just not going to beat Milwaukee. That's just my opinion. But I do not like that excuse. Or he didn't play. He got suspended one game. He was there for Game 6. He was there for Game 7. The Warriors still lost. So that's not a valid excuse to me. I'm sorry. I disagree with that.
I'm sorry. Goodness gracious. With that being said, I feel like you're glad you got that off your chest, G.
Yeah, because everybody use that excuse all the time. I hate it.
Yes, so we'll be back. I want to say Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Be sure to go ahead and like us on our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter page. Also, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, and all other major streaming platforms. Also, this episode, the Not for the Bay podcast, is sponsored by Bet Us, the online bookie site, where if you sign up with the link that we have placed down in the description, you will get up to 110% of bonuses added on to your purchase. This is the Not for the Bay podcast. We up out of here, man.
Peace.